Revit has the capability to use information entered somewhere once in multiple places. And that is going to be the focus of today's video, talking about how to use parameters and their values to show information in either one place or many places, but have it always be the same information. Let's get going. Here we are in Revit looking at a sample cover sheet of an example project that I have put together. The first thing we want to look at is the parameter values on the title block, because this is something that is pretty common to use, but at least in my experience, not everyone realizes how powerful these parameters can be. So let me show you an example. First, let's zoom in here and look at this little project info box on the title block. Each of these fields is a parameter. So what I'm going to show you is that if you click on this, then you can see each of these. If I broaden this dialog box, you'll see this. Okay, so the project name, we can fill this in and say example project. I'm just going to leave the rest of these the same. I mainly wanted to show you that these are fillable fields because these are parameters. So now you can see that this changed to example project. Something that I have seen fairly commonly is people putting a bold project title on the top of the cover sheet using a text note. So if we use the text tool right here, we could do that and say example project. And now these two match. However, they're not tied together. There is a way to make them tied together. So I'm going to delete that. And let's use the power of the schedule. To use a schedule, we will want to go to, which tab is it? The View tab? Yes, Schedules. And we'll want to go to Schedule/Quantities. What we will do here is use this multi-category selection. And then we can name it, let's just say, project name. Let's just call it that. The phase doesn't really matter for this. All right, so then we get to the familiar schedule interface. What we're going to do here is choose project information from this drop-down box at the top of the Fields tab. Now that we've selected this, we have a whole bunch of different parameters here. And one of these parameters, if you look through here, is project name. Now we can put this in the scheduled fields. That's all we want to put here. All right, so we can go through each of these tabs, but it doesn't really matter. We're not sorting, we're not filtering. Sorting, we want to uncheck itemize every instance. That is one thing we want to do. Formatting, we can leave it all the same. We might want to go center actually, because it is a title on a title block. And then the appearance, we can choose here. This is probably the most important tab here outside of the field. We want to choose the font type that we want to use. So let's use that same font type I used for the text note, this TTL for title, tier 1. And then we don't need to worry about header text, body text. Actually, that's incorrect. What we're going to do here is for the body, we're going to do TTL tier 1. For this, doesn't really matter. We'll go back to schedule default. We're not going to show the title. That's why I say that. Okay, we're going to click OK. And now we have a basic schedule. It looks very rudimentary. We're going to make it even more so by hiding the title. I want to go back to the Appearance tab, and I want to uncheck Show Title and Show Headers. There we go. So now we just have the body of the schedule. That is what we want. And it looks a little bit small for title text, but just to see if the font that we're using actually worked, let's go to where that schedule is. So we'll go to the Schedules tab. Here it is, project name, and here we go. Now that we've placed the schedule on the sheet, you can see that the font looks good. It's just a very thin schedule, so it's, in this case, aligned completely vertically. Stretch out the schedule, make it look better. There we go, example project. So now we can put this really wherever we want. Let's put it right here. One final thing we can do to the schedule to change its appearance is to get rid of that border. This is just a matter of taste. You can keep the border if you want, but I'll show you how to get rid of it in case you want to. So back in the Schedule tab, we can go to the Appearance button, and then we can simply get rid of grid lines. Uncheck that. And then once we go back to the cover sheet, grid lines are gone, no border, good to go. Now the power of this is that the scheduled value right here and this name right here are tied together. So if I change one, I'll go back to this set of parameters and I'll say new project name just to make it distinctly different. I'll say OK. Look at that. This also changed. You might want to stretch this out across the entire available width just to make it so long names can still be on one line. There we go. So now when we change one area, I'll change this back to how I had it before. Example project. Here we go. Those are tied together. Now, something that's really great to know is that you can place this schedule on any other sheet, and the value shown, when I say value, I just mean the information, the actual text in this case, it will be the same across all the sheets where the schedule is placed and wherever this name parameter is placed on the title block. One final thing I want to show you to really help this hit home is an example of changing setback information. I have placed parameters in the project information menu which deal with setbacks, front, rear, and sides. So I have some example values here, 10 feet, 10 feet, 6 feet. I have already put single cell schedules in this detail group. I'm using a detail group because it's a bunch of schedules grouped together. Schedules cannot be placed inside of drafting views or legends, which are some good places you might think to put them on multiple sheets. Not so much drafting views, those can only be put on one sheet each. But on a legend, that seems like a good place to put a schedule, but you can't put schedules on legends. So that's how detail groups are the way to go to make it so the schedules are visually organized the same way in multiple places. Let's pretend that I want to put the setbacks information on the site plan. So let's go to the site plan, sheet, don't need to save it, and let's put the setback info right under here in this little gap. Let's take this schedule and put each of these right here. Let's go here, make a group, setback info. There we go. So now you could take this set of schedules in text notes and move it to multiple sheets. So this is a site plan sheet. Let's say we also want to place it on a code sheet, which yes, I have here. Let's go to our code sheet here. Got a bunch of information here, but let's just place it right here. These values will be the same throughout the sheets as long as you use those schedules. Very powerful concept. So stop using text notes for information that is project specific. That is what I wanted to cover in this video. One source, multiple places. That's the benefit of using it this way. All right, I'll see you in the next video.